Welcome to Real Truth Real Quick. My name is Rick Smith. I'm Director of Digital Ministries at Watermark Church in Dallas, Texas. And I'm here with Todd Wagner, talking about a subject that's near and dear to my heart today.
Is it?
Well, I'm a technology guy. So,
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So people want to know this. Is it okay for a Christian to use online dating services?
So let me just say this. You obviously can't open God's Word and find a verse that talks about online dating for obvious reasons that go without saying. But what I would tell you is that there are tons of principles that talking about courtship, dating, building relationship, and you ought to carry every single one of those into online dating. I will tell you, it's not a sin to marry. It's not even a sin to want to marry, but I would say this. The Lord does not promise to remove all of our desires while we're still on earth or to fully satisfy them even. And so just because you want to get married doesn't mean you're going to. I will tell you this. I mean, it's okay when you're single to wish you were married in some ways, although you don't want to be defined by that, just like it's okay when you're married to sometimes want to be single, but you better not be a person that's a slave to those desires. One of the things that you just need to be aware of, and let's just talk about some principles, is the whole online world, Rick, as you know, because you live a lot there, leads to dishonesty and isolation easily. Put it this way, it's an easy place to hide if you're dishonest, and it's an easy place to isolate. Isolation and dishonesty are not your friends. And so you got to be really aware that you're already moving into a medium where there's going to be some more opportunity for you to isolate and to make some decisions in isolation. The other thing that's going to happen, and chance for people to be dishonest in the way they represent themselves. And so you want to take your time, you want to be slow. One of the other things that's going to happen is you're going to be overwhelmed. You might go, and the reason you're on to online dating is because you may not be in a church or a community where there's a lot of people to get to know and to date. And so then you jump online, you fill out your little bio, or what do they call it? Profile. And the next thing you know, you've got 60 options. And so
Depending on what you put on there, you could have 160
you could have
options.
160. And what's going to happen when you get overwhelmed with a lot of choices like that, it can cause stress and anxiety as you try and sort through them real quickly. Often the way you do that is by taking some of the more superficial things to eliminate certain people. And you don't want to go by superficial indicators when you're talking about lasting relationships. So obviously appearance is going to be a big thing that's going to appeal to you. And that does just in normal human interaction. But what happens is when you're in a situation where you're not trying to make a decision quickly, or when you're dealing with limited information, you can start to eliminate people for all the wrong reasons. Whatever you do, you want to be slow, you want to be careful, you want to do it in community. And so what I am saying in the midst of this is no. Online dating, even of itself, is not the problem, but the way you go about it might be. The idolatry of having a relationship might be. But assuming that all those things are in place and you're going to be careful, you're going to value character, that person's going to be very open with their references. You're not going to be prone to that person saying, you're the only person that's ever understood me. Nobody gets me like you. I mean, let me tell you something. That is a major red flag, whether you hear that online dating or whether you just hear it in person. But no, I would not say just at its face that online dating is a problem, though the idolatry of relationships might be.
Great stuff. You know, one of the things that you said about inviting your community in, I think in order to do that, you know, letting community groups know, hey, you don't have to shame someone if they feel like, hey, if they, having an environment where someone can talk
about
to you
it and say, would you help me go through these profiles? And when I start to engage with them, by the way, one of the things that's not going to happen necessarily initially in online dating is a chance for physical promiscuity. Okay, but there is another kind of promiscuity that's just as dangerous early in our relationships, and that's emotional promiscuity, where you're going to start maybe just diving in and having these deep heart-to-heart conversations. It's going to naturally wedge you to somebody in a way that wisdom might not have you do that right away. I mean, I even tell folks this, when you're just spending some time with somebody in a normal dating relationship, you don't want to, that very first date, it never encourages us. I mean, we just stayed up all night talking. We didn't touch each other. We didn't kiss. We talked till 4 a.m. That is emotionally reckless. And you got to be really careful when you do that. But yeah, invite them in. Look at these profiles with me. Meet them in a public place. If they're from a different state, and by the way, that's the first thing I would do to cull it down. Are these people close? Are there others that can check in with them? Are they connected deeply in a community where other people are doing on their side what you're doing on your side? So you got to check all that stuff out. And I will just say this, gals especially, even on online dating, you don't want to be the driver of that relationship. You still want to be in a relationship where that guy seeks you. And so girls, if you're getting into an online dating community, you still want to be the treasure. And treasures get found. They are sought. They don't do the seeking.
Great stuff. Hey, listen, we're going to put a lot more resources on the show notes, so we encourage you to check out Real Truth real quick and check out some sermons, some other resources that we have, and we'll see you next week on another episode of Real Truth real quick.
Be wise, be careful.